right. It's been a while. Hi. This guy, first of all, is up to mischief. So if he starts screaming, I might have to edit this clip slightly. But hello, Happy New Year. It is Wednesday the 8th, I think, and I'm recording a Raw Wednesday, which I have not done in probably since like 2018 maybe. So if you've been subscribed since then, you might recognise this. Basically the premise is I sit down, press record, and I talk at you without editing it. So I need to remember that I can't really edit anything that I'm doing. Gus is on one this morning. He's already thrown up on the carpet, he's had zoomies, he's been shouting at me, so that's your pre-warning that something's going on with this kid today. But I thought we'd just kind of have a chat. I haven't uploaded on my channel for 2 weeks now. Few reasons. I had some time off for Christmas and New Year, and also I got hit with the most intense festive flu. He thinks he's lost his toy under here. Gus Bab, no one's going to listen to me if you're down here causing a ruckus. This is the difference. Like, let me see if I can find a clip of me back at uni when I used to film these. I'm sure the contrast is pretty different. But yeah, I had like a 2-week long stint of flu, which completely knocked me off my feet. Like Christmas Day, I was suffering. Luckily, we went to my parents' house. Me, my boyfriend and Gus all went and stayed over for 2 nights over the Christmas period, and it was so nice just to be looked after, and it was just so nice. So even though I was ill, it was a very nice time. So I hope you had a good one, whatever you got up to. This year, I feel like, has started off. So I asked on Instagram, right, for some topics, and the general consensus is the pressure to travel, the future, the plans for this year. So we're just going to kind of go all in. So I feel like, especially on TikTok and stuff, there's so much pressure to have this new year, new me kind of situation. And I don't think this boy, he has been asleep on the bed for the past 2 hours. I start filming and he starts doing this. Yeah, there's a pressure, I think, to like do these new things in the new year, and it just feels like a lot. So I'm trying to remind myself, and I guess at the same time remind you watching this, that you're enough just as you are. Like, it's fine to want to tweak a few things or improve a few things. I think that's important, otherwise you'd stay stagnant and not really develop. But you don't want to take it too far. Like, you don't want to be trying to be this completely different person. Like, you are enough as you are. So yeah, there's like a balance. I'm feeling a lot of pressure this year. I think that's another reason I want to film a Raw Wednesday, because it just keeps it simple. All the videos at the beginning of this year have been like setting goals for 2025, but like I don't fully know what my goals are. I posted a video like 3 weeks ago, and I very vaguely wrote some goals down in my notes that's as far as I've gone this year, and I did a vision board. And to be honest, all the pieces of paper that I stuck to that vision board have all peeled off, so I don't know if that's a sign, but yeah, that's where we're at with that. This year I actually turn 30, which is insane. I keep getting this TikTok of people, it's like, once I was 20 years old, and then it goes, now soon we'll be 30 years old. I'm so sorry for my singing. And that's me. Like, the 1995 babies are all turning 30 this year. So if you're a part of that club, how do you feel? I'm both like shocked. Like, in my head I still feel 18, but then also I have footage of me at uni at 18 and I look like a completely different person. Like, I have most of my like adolescence documented, which is a unique position to be in. But yeah, 30. So I don't really, originally I was going to do like 30 before I turned 30. Like, on my 29th birthday I wrote down a bunch of different things, but again I was ill, and then it felt like a lot of pressure and I didn't like that, so I kind of scrapped that idea, which I guess kind of falls into the same thing of all these New Year's resolutions. But this year, my last year in my 20s, I'm just going to try and live. Like, last year I don't think we went travelling as much as we wanted to. I want to go tent boxing. like camping. I want to do a city break for my 30th, so I think me, my mum, dad and my boyfriend are all going to go on a city break somewhere. I don't know where, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I've been to Budapest, I've been to Austria, I've been to Amsterdam. I'm thinking like Berlin. Someone at work yesterday recommended Berlin, or like Copenhagen. Let me know if you've got any recommendations. I'd love to hear that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to see my bestie Hannah. Gus has got his head in a carrier bag, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. Gus? No. Stop. I'm trying to film, baby. So yeah, I'm going to see my bestie Hannah. We've decided we're going to do like a girls' spa trip or something. And actually I've not told her this, but I'm thinking maybe Bath, because that's down her end of the country. I feel like she's been before and that'd be really cute and wholesome. That feels like a proper like English country vibe or city vibe. So yeah, I think on my actual birthday we're going to do pottery painting and go out for lunch. Like, it's understated, cozy, but realistic. I'm not a gal who wants to be travelling all the time, and in fact one of the questions on Instagram was something to do with travelling. The pressure to travel and make the most of your 20s. I never really kind of felt that pressure. There was a phase where I went travelling quite a lot because my boyfriend at the time was really into it and I loved it at the time. But I'm equally as happy now, just living my little cosy life, coming home to my cat and my boyfriend. I think I've almost gone a bit too far that way this year. So I'm going to try and find the balance again. Last year, I mean, I'm going to try and find the balance again in 2025 and actually like book things. That's our issue. We need to sit down ahead of time and pick weekends out where we can do things. So that's what I'm going to do. But in terms of the pressure of like living life in your 20s and like you need to experience life, like I never really had that vibe. I feel like I've always been a bit of a homemaker. I'm a home person and that's fine with me. And if that's how you live your life, you go for it. And if you're like traveling or on a gap year, the idea of that absolutely terrified me. And probably still would, and it just doesn't appeal to me, and that's all right. So yeah, I guess there is a pressure, but the older I've got, the more I realise I don't actually care what anyone else's life stage is. I'm just bothered about me and how I feel in my own situation, and like trying not to compare myself. But I mean, that's easier said than done. Oh my god, one of the questions: do you find it hard not to compare yourself to others? Yes. I think one of my loose goals for this year is going to be, I feel like I'm sat really weird. I'm like really aware of how I'm sat. One of my goals, I think, is going to be to cut down on social media, which is quite difficult for a few reasons, considering firstly it's my job, both my job here working for myself and also my job 2 days a week when I work for someone else. My job is social media, but I think where it turns toxic and like not helpful is when the first thing I do in the morning is reach for my phone. And I've kind of noticed a change in my thoughts around this. Like, it used to just be a habit, but more and more I'll like wake up in the morning, roll over, look out, there's a nice blue sky, and I'll be sat thinking, I want to just spend some time in bed. I don't need to go on my phone, but I will. I just need something in lieu of that. Like, if I don't scroll on my phone, I'll fall back to sleep. So maybe like I could read, but again I'd probably fall asleep. So maybe the solution is just to get up and get out of bed. I'm not really sure. But I think that moment, either first thing in the morning or very late at night when you're scrolling on whatever you're scrolling on, I think that's the prime time to be comparing yourself to others, even if you're not consciously doing it. Like, I'm quite good at like separating social media and real life, but subconsciously, like I was in bed this morning, there's people traveling, there's people doing all these cool videos, and I'm like, oh, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. Whereas if I'd have woken up and just got out of bed, done the washing, emptied the dishwasher, sat and watched half an hour of a TV programme or something, I feel like my mindset would be different. I just don't know how to implement that. Here he goes again. His favourite toy is a Nerf bullet, like a little orange Nerf bullet, and I think he's probably, yeah, I'm talking about you, I think he's probably chucked it under the sofa like he does multiple times a day, and this is him telling me to get it out for him. honestly. I think he's a dog more than a cat. But yeah, that's how I feel about comparison. I'm pretty happy, although this is a bit of a rogue one. I think I'm gonna feel even more pressure to have kids when I'm 30. Like, more so, Gus, no. So sorry. I've got a disobedient child. More so the past like year or so, there's like this weird timeline for women of having kids of like, is it too late? And I'm trying to keep my rational mind at bay. But there is part of me that's like, what if I leave it too late? I know that's like a big, deep question, and I'm not ready for kids anytime soon, but I don't know. I don't know how to... I feel like if you're a female woman watching this, you probably understand what I'm trying to say, but yeah, that's how I feel about that one. Someone's asked, crafts or reading? I prefer crafting. So I am firmly in my crafting era. I have created a blanket. I could go and get it. Let me go and get it. I've created this blanket that was a crochet along. I think it was £32. You got all the wool, and then all the tutorials and stuff are online, so that bit's free. So all you're paying for is the wool. And I've made this, and I'm very proud of myself. I need to try and not let it unravel as I bring it to here. I've just like left the ball that's fastened to it down there. But this is a Christmas crochet along, and it's with, I don't know how to pronounce the brand, Sirdar. It's like a gingerbread house blanket. I've made this. Like, how insane is that? It's taken me ages. And I did plan on like documenting the process, but then I realised you don't need to monetize every hobby. Like, that's not, even though there's these people telling you on TikTok, like, you could make money off this. Like, I don't want to. I just like sitting on an evening, watching a programme and doing this. So currently I'm going around doing this like biscuity gingerbread colour. This is my tassel. And it's taken ages now because it's like 200 stitches on each edge. But crafting is definitely the winner for me, to answer your question. And this is my proudest achievement of the year. I mean, the back of it is chaos because I've not put in any of the ends. So the back we're just not going to look at for now. But yeah, this year I'm going to do a lot more crafting. I've already got some ideas for things I want to sew. One of my friends has recently had a baby, and I want to make one of those teddy bears where you like cut out their baby clothes and turn it into a teddy bear. I've bought the pattern, and I've bought some test fabric because I don't want to just try and make a teddy bear with this baby's clothes and ruin it. So we're gonna do that. But yeah, there's just something about crafting I really like, and I'm okay with that. I'm living my old lady life, and I feel like that goes back to like making the most of life in your 20s, of like travelling and seeing the world. I like doing that in small doses, but equally after I've been on a trip, I very much enjoy the feeling of, oh, I'm back home, I'm in my own comfort, I'm in my own bed, and I can do my own things. And I've got everything around me that I love. So I feel like this is a good example of that. And yeah, I guess that's the answer to that question. Although I do like reading, and I've set myself a goal for this year on my Kindle. So I read on my Kindle every night because it helps me fall asleep. Sometimes I'll read and get really hooked on it and like not be able to fall asleep as fast, but other times I'll read like 2 pages and I'll fall asleep. So last year I set myself the goal of 15 books, which I just got. Some of these books were shorter stories, which I think is why I did it. And that was another thing I mentioned in my goal setting video. I don't want to make that any higher. Like, I'm quite happy reading a few pages a night, and that's fulfilling to me. So I've set my goal again for 15 books. Me, like 8 years ago, would have never even read 1 book, so that's impressive. And I know there's people out here that read a lot more than that, but it's your own life. You can do whatever you like. So yeah, I guess, should I look at my goals that I set I set these goals before Christmas when I filmed that video, and I've got it pinned to the top of my notes app. If you didn't know, you can pin things. So I've written down, read 15 books, move my body once a week, set aside time for crafting, clearly very good at that. Release new digital products, upload every day on TikTok in January. That's what I'm doing. I was supposed to be mentioning this. I'm uploading on TikTok every single day this month. So it's obviously the 8th. I've uploaded 8 days in a row. It's a lot more work than I thought it would be, but it is really fun. So if you're not following me on TikTok, definitely head over there. It's just a similar vibe to this, just shorter and snappier, I guess. Push my part-time work to the next level, and then go camping more, tent boxing trips, spend intentional fun time together, lunch with friends, games night, travel to new places, declutter and minimise, and decorate Gus's room. Like, these are all really achievable goals, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I wrote that on the 19th of December. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's life. Should we see if there's any final questions? Gus has finished his mischief. He's probably gone upstairs to just have a very large poo, or just, I don't know, vom on something else, because he likes to do that. Okay, real job versus creative job, pros and cons of both. So I'm guessing that means my part-time job. So a bit of context, I got a part-time job last year in June, so I've been there for 7 months now, which is crazy. I only work 2 days a week, and I work in 2 different locations. So 1 day a week I'm in one place, and the other day of the week I'm in another place with different groups of people. So it makes it feel like I'm still quite new, because I don't see everyone a lot, but I have been there like a substantial amount of time now, and it is really, really good. Like, don't get me wrong, I went yesterday for the first time since the 16th of December, and I got Sunday scaries. Do you know, like, before you went back to school after half term or summer holidays and you were like nervous? I felt like that, and I messaged my friend like, I'm scared. She replied the next day saying, I hope you've realised it wasn't scary. I don't get that feeling when I work just for myself, because I set my own goals. And I'm trying to remember that that feeling's okay. It's because I'm doing things that aren't fully within my comfort zone. As much as I love the job, it is different, and naturally I'm used to working for myself. So after having 3 weeks off and not having to answer to anyone, going back to it was quite scary. But it's so good. Like, I was there, it was just nice being in an office environment, chatting to everyone. I'm back there again tomorrow. Gus is going to eat my crochet hook. So I don't know, I definitely wouldn't, I don't think I want to up the days there. I much prefer the balance I've got, where I'm 2 days employed, 2 days self-employed. In terms of real job versus creative, my real job, even though both jobs are real, is creative as well, and it's very similar to what I do. So I don't think there's much of a difference. But in contrast to that, you might remember this if you've been following me for a while, I did get a full-time job 2 years ago. That was a whole different story, and I think that was too much. Like, I was really stuck in like my life stage, and I didn't really know what I wanted, so I tried it and it didn't work out. It wasn't for me. I don't think, like, that job was sitting at a desk 5 days a week, 9 to 5. I can't do that. Like, my brain attention span and like sanity just went absolutely insane staring at screens all day every day. So I think this one is the perfect balance, and I remind myself of that job when I'm going to this job and thinking, actually, yeah, this is perfect. If I could have written myself a job description and said what I wanted it to be, the job that I'm doing right now is that. And that is amazing, but it also terrifies me because I'm scared that it's going to go wrong. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what part of my brain is like self-sabotaging that thought. Maybe because I thought that old job was going to be the one, and it was like my new thing. And like I told you guys about it, and then not long after it went wrong. But yeah, it just feels too good to be true sometimes, which is scary. But I just need to enjoy it whilst everything happens for a reason, right? And I feel like we need to apply that to a lot of things. Like, something might not go right, but there's a reason for it. And I've stood by that saying or quote, whatever you want to call it, for a long time. So yeah, everything happens for a reason, doesn't it, Gus? Can you see him down there? He's just sat looking at me. Am I sat on your spot? I think he wants to sit on this sofa. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I can see on my camera I've been recording for just under 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop. I hope you've enjoyed this very rambly catch up. Happy New Year once again. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Thank you for watching, Oh, and if you got to the end of this video, comment down below this cat emoji. I'll put it here so I know you got to the very end and you know that Gus has been watching this whole time too. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!